Okay, so I've seen a video recently that I wanted to make a commentary on, which is about digital pianos being better than acoustic pianos. I've been seeing this narrative a lot of times, and a lot of times when you look at the bullet points and you look at the structure of the argument, it's based around, a lot of it's based around maintenance, then more than it is based on anything else, and the convenience of plugging in headphones. Those are the two things that seem to be central to these. And the third one would be, maintenance. Sorry, that's the first one. I was going to repeat the first one again. But the thing is, and also moving them, that kind of thing. So I want to make a few comments on this subject because I feel like I want to add my voice, and maybe you think that I'm wrong, so put comment below. Maybe you think I'm right. Give me your thoughts so people can read what you think too, and that will help people that are making up their minds at this moment. So the first thing I want to say about this is that digital pianos don't sound as good as real pianos, and that is sincerely said. I used to sell digital pianos in the UK in my father's business, Robert's Pianos, Oxford. And we used to get them out of the box. UPS would come along, ship a big box, and we'd buy Kawai digitals at that point. They were pretty good in the market then. And it would pull the box upstairs, unpackage it, and it would have exactly the same appearance, exactly the same tone as the previous one. So the first thing is, the uniqueness is just not there. There's just no uniqueness in digital pianos. They all look the same, and in my honest opinion, they don't even look that good. I'm sorry, I'm gonna tread on a few toes here, but the appearance of them is just boring and not very elegant. When you look at a piano, you got the veneer, you got the iron, you got the brass and the bass strings, you got the felt, the wool on the hammers, you got the tone of the finish they put on it. It's just beautiful. Now the sound just doesn't sound as good as a real piano, and and I'm going to get into some positive points in a second. Well, let me throw in a positive point now. The first positive point I have for digital pianos, and I love the fact that they exist. So this is going to sound contradictory, but I play the piano at church, and I played worship music for, I'm going to say, I've been in worship music for 35 years or so. I'm 40 years old now, so since I was about 15, slightly younger, I've been in some way involved in worship music, maybe before then. And so in a worship environment, and I tune pianos in churches, and I was tuning a piano in a church, I'm always thinking they should really get a digital piano, like the environment, the humidity, the fact that they turn the humidification off or between services means this piano is getting destroyed. So I think they shouldn't, and also microphoning and the tuning and the volume and that kind of thing doesn't make sense to me in a live performance. Although really well-off bands travel with pianos, like Coldplay and Alicia Keys will often have a piano in an important concert. That's because they can afford a technician per event. Or recording studios will record a real piano because they can afford a technician for that session. So that, when it comes to that kind of use for like production and performance in a band, I'm partial to digital pianos because you can plug it in and it will go through, and you can mix it much easier. It will be in tune for the event. And so why would I talk about acoustic pianos? Well, I recently sold a piano to a worship leader in Champions Forest Church, a big church in the northwest of Houston. He's the worship pastor in Spanish. His name's Job Gonzalez. I have an interview with him in Spanish on another channel. And Job was just talking about the fact, that he just loved to write and write songs on acoustic instruments. He got inspired. He said, I've had my digital piano in a bag somewhere in a room for a long time. I also sold a piano to a famous worship artist in English, a very, very big name, a couple of years ago. And her husband told me, we just write on a piano. We got a Nord Stage, which in my opinion is one of the best sounding digital pianos there is for performance. We use that for concerts, but when it comes to writing, we just want acoustic sound in the room. And one of the technicians I know, you'll probably all know him, is very respected. He said to me, digital pianos have come a long way. They've got the cabinets gone bigger. Some of these new ones have like a piano cabinet. They've even put wooden keys in at one point. Then now they put in an action in some models. And they told me, and they've faked the hammer. They told me the only thing they need now is to put strings in it. You've got the best digital piano there is, because they got soundboards as well. He's making a joke saying they're just going back towards the piano to make the best piano that you can make, which is an acoustic piano. Okay, and the other thing is, one of the things that I want to add to this conversation is, yes, I love them for certain use cases. Say if you're in an old people's home and you're in a retirement home, you've got your room is next to another person, totally makes sense to have a digital piano. You won't annoy anybody. You might hear a click, click, clang, clang, but that'll be it. The other side to this whole thing about maintenance, I want to talk about that topic really briefly, is someone actually didn't come into the shop a few days ago. Sorry, change subject. They didn't come in because they said to me, do you do digital piano as well? And I said, look, I told them a bit of the story, and I said, look, don't think I'll be doing them for now anyway. Maybe in the future I'll have some for certain, for the use cases I'm talking about, I might have some eventually, but I said, look, I'm just not really interested. I'm on my own right now. I don't have the time for that, and I'm not passionate about it for working on them. Anyway, so the other thing I wanted to talk about on the whole subject is to add my voice to the subject is that the parts and the people to repair them. The parts are not available on some of these digital pianos. They're just not. A lot of the time I've heard of technicians taking them into repair and they just hold them for a long time, and they have to end up getting the parts secondhand on eBay and things like that because they can't get them from. That's what I've heard. If I'm wrong, this is my opinion. So if I'm wrong, please do let me know and give me the information I'm missing. So the other thing is that in Houston, for instance, I get maybe 3-4 calls. I used to get 2-3 a week, but at the moment I'm getting one a week or one every other week. Do you repair digital pianos? No. Do you know anybody? Yes, there's one person I think that does them. But the thing is, with the acoustic piano, we can pretty much get all the parts from a standard provider. The hammers, you drill them and customize them. The dampers come in packs. You can usually use the set, or you can cut a damper to size. Springs, they're sold. You can buy those. Tapes, you can buy those. And felts, you can buy those. So pianos are very repairable to a degree until it gets to really expensive restoration. So why do I think that people are pushing on them? I think it's partly price as well. I think it's convenience in a performance space. I think it's sometimes you're in a big city and it's a very big city and there's just small housing and you don't want to annoy your neighbors, so you don't want to have an acoustic instrument. And I understand that, and I'm not trying to diminish that for those use cases. I'm just saying to some of the videos I've seen, it seems like they're better, and I just don't buy into that. If you look, for me, the canary in the coal mine here is the musicians themselves. Even if you look at Billie Eilish, for instance, a very famous singer-songwriter, a lot of my audience might not know who she is, but if you look at the videos of her studio, her brother, you'll see that there's an acoustic piano there and there's a keyboard. The acoustic piano is for inspiration, and a lot of studios will have this, and the keyboard is for recording. That's how I see it. It's for putting parts down, strings, drums, whatever they're recording. And so I'm not buying into that. I don't think I want to put my voice out there because I think there's a lot of discerning people that don't either. I think it's easier for manufacturers to make them because they're cheaper. They're plastic. You can mold them. One thing I would say about the parts, all the parts are not the same. So for instance, if you replace parts on a keyboard, one manufacturer will use a certain keyboard type with a certain spring, and another one will use another keyboard type with a certain spring. They're not standardized. There's no conventions. There's no trade conventions where the technicians come together. There's no guilds. There's no kind of like agreements as there are in the piano industry. And then the other thing I was going to say, before I forget, my father told me, and he did a video about the fact that sometimes the touch weight's not even correct. The up weight and the down weight's not the same as an acoustic piano. Those are actually quite difficult, I imagine, to design perfectly. So the acoustic piano is usually aiming 50 grams down weight, and I think it's 17 plus grams up weight. So that's something to bear in mind too. And then the final thing, and a cherry on the cake for me, is the sound. And I might have mentioned this already, but acoustic pianos have like infinite amount of resonance. There's physics, laws of physics. And there's something I want to say really briefly. In the early 2000s, I think it was 2000, late 90s, one of my friends in Spain, he played a guitar. It was an acoustic guitar, hybrid mixture of an acoustic guitar with an electric guitar. And you could change the pickups, and it would go from like an acoustic sound to an electric sound. okay, the electric sound sounded okay, but not too good. The acoustic sound sounded okay, but really thin because it was a small body to be like electric guitar. And some electric guitarists will have a pedal on their pedal board that mimics it mimics the sound of an acoustic guitar. How often have I gone to someone's house and seen someone performing live and they've used that? I don't know, probably some people, but not very many. If you went to someone's house, if you went to my house, even though if I played at church, I would play an electric guitar usually. Well, actually nowadays I'm going back to acoustic. I'd plug it in, it's mic'd up, and it's acoustic, and it's just acoustic. But if you come to my house, 99 times out of 10 I'm going to pick up the Spanish guitar, the classical guitar, because it's more comfortable. And the convenience for playing, performing, miking up, yes, there with my other instruments. But acoustic guitars are acoustic. Acoustic pianos are acoustic for a reason. And they're better acoustic because we haven't gone into the virtual reality world that today's seems to be heading towards, with Meta talking about an improved reality, with digital products talking about being improved reality. Part of the reality of a piano is the fact that it's a mechanical machine, it's a mechanical instrument that doesn't require any buzz, any energy. And I think in this busy world we're in today, people are trying to get into some things that were pre-digital, and there's an element of that. So sound-wise, I don't think you can reproduce the sound of an acoustic piano. And there's a few things that people love that they're going back towards, like for instance, playing chess, or reading a physical book, or reading a book on a Kindle, the things that aren't overstimulating. And I don't know where I was going with that, but I think there's something about the acousticness of a piano, the hobby of playing a piano, that is just beautiful, and the richness and the warmth and the enjoyment of an acoustic sound is just always going to be there, I think, and there's always going to be a market for that. So I'm bullish on acoustic pianos, and I think that that's where I'm staying. If acoustic pianos, if the marketing works and digitals overtake acoustics and they get rid of acoustics, I just don't see that happening, because I just think discerning musicians and intellectuals who have really good taste always, until they plug some chip in your brain that sends sound directly to your brain. This is kind of out there, isn't it? I'm finishing off out there. But if they did that, where it felt like the physical sound of an acoustic instrument, maybe then. But in the meanwhile, I think we'll be in business for a while, and I don't see that having any issues. I'm going to do a video about why I think pianos are still going to be around for a while, and not to believe the news cycles about pianos being given away for free, because those pianos being given away for free, they're free for a reason. They're too old and need too much work, like a washing machine. It's not because they're old and being free that means the industry is going down. But that's for another day. Thanks for watching this video. I'll speak with you soon. My name is Evan Royalty Piano Houston. Bye.